Are you stuck? How about unhappy? Join Alena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for Magical Moments with Alena as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. Alena will help you take control of your life and push you to do the things you never thought you'd do. So get ready to take back your power and celebrate life with Magical Moments featuring Alena Chapman.
Welcome to Magical Moments, everyone, for that ease and that flow in your life. And I'm your host, Alena Chapman. And today, you're going to hear from me with a very special, little timely note, I guess. And listen, I'm always talking about ease and flow, right? And you're looking at the news, you're looking at life, and you're saying, Alena, are you from outer space? And I can see that. But come on, let's talk about this. I know that we have been through a consistent row of trauma for quite a while now. I mean, so much trauma. It's been years, actually. And it's been years of everyday fight or flight. What is definition of trauma? Okay. It is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. All right. Over and over and over, every morning, we are put through a disturbance. We are put through something that is distressing. Our hormones kick in right away, guys. Anytime you feel that, it strikes your system. We're at war. Oh my God, we have to be in our houses forever. Another stress. What am I going to do with the kids? What am I going to do with that? Our mind starts racing. That shuts down parts of our body. It releases all the stress hormones. Our heart starts to go faster. Everything we do moves us forward to either fight or hide. And yet, you can't keep this up. And yet we have. We have kept this up. And look now. Now we've got the world in a very turmoil place. People are waking up every morning with a new, well, I don't know, a new attack. Let's be real, a new attack. And we absorb this. Not only that, then we see our world changing. Gas is going up, food is going up, businesses are failing. Every day has been a little landmine. That's really what it's been. And it wears on us. It wears on us in such funny ways. You know, if you've listened to my past shows, you've heard me talk about popcorn. And that popcorn is when we don't want to register what is happening to us. You know, we're going to be the good little soldier. We're going to just keep plowing through our life. We're going to pull our family together. We're going to be this soldier. And we're going to shove this stuff down inside of us. We can deal with it. We're Americans. We can deal, right? Yeah. And so what happens is somebody cuts you off when you're driving and you end up coming out with some choice words. Or you see the spot at the gas station and you decide, I'm going to cut that person off and get that gas. That's popcorn. No compassion. It's aggression. It's every time that aggression comes out in a sarcastic, mean, it just pops out of you. And you're thinking, wait a minute, that's not me. And if you do it enough, you start saying, wait, what happened to me? Why are my shoulders always tight? Why is it I'm craving a massage every third day? Why is it I just can't deal anymore? Because, my dears, you have been living in trauma. We all have. And it's not over. And our bodies are getting tired and our minds are going tired. I read a quote just this morning. You can deal with much more than you think you can. Well, I don't think they lived through this. So I think people are at their end of the rope. They're tired. And they're really sick of bull stuff. I don't know if I can say the real word on radio. So we're trying to change that, that stuff that we don't want. We're sick of it. So here's the thing. When usually you talk, if you go to any therapist, if you go to any guru. They're going to say, make your reality. They're going to say, how are you thinking about this? You don't have to live in this trauma, right? Okay, I'm going to debunk that. We're living in a trauma. And might get worse before it gets better. Who knows? How do you deal? That's what I'm going to teach you. How do you deal? Because this is the time when you deal. This is the time when you have to keep your own sanity. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is stop listening to every guru in the world. And instead start listening to yourself. Because your body knows what it needs. It doesn't want these stress hormones flowing around inside of it every 2 minutes. It knows it's unhealthy. You're 80% water and your water is total chaos. It knows what it's going through right now in your body. It's got to calm down that water. It's got to clear up that water. So a couple of things. See what it is that makes you happy just for a moment, first of all. You got to get your body back to status quo. So if that is going out and getting an ice cream with the kids and just laughing, if that's dancing, putting up the music you love and just dancing in your house, then dance till the cows come home. If it is reading I got a wonderful book. What is it? The Witch's Daughter, which is a novel. Really fun. And the writing is superb. That is my escape. I love it. I watch a movie or a show at night before I go to bed. I know they say, oh, turn that all off. No. For me, going into someone else's life and laughing just makes me so happy. It's a release. We have to build in our moments. We have to get ourselves up to the status quo of where our body should be, where our mind should be. Do you know what I do in the morning? No guru told me this. I grab my little latte, which, yeah, I know, lattes are expensive, but it's worth my sanity as far as I'm concerned. And I grab a latte and I go to Little River Wetlands, which is a little nature preserve. They have a little parking lot. I see the same people getting out and walking. I don't even get out and walk. It's too cold. I'm a wimp. I admit it. But I will sit there and I will do a beautiful morning meditation in the sun. Yesterday I was sitting there and this bluebird, I'm not kidding, this bluebird came and sat in a tree very close to my window and started singing. So I rolled down my window and I started talking to the bluebird and the bluebird started talking to me. And I thought, my gosh, the things we miss. How often do we even see a bluebird? And it was like the bluebird said, it'll all be fine. It'll all be fine. And in that moment, I was in another world. The trauma was not happening. The bluebird is still around. You got to get yourself into the moments where you see what's important. Because we're being thrown constant fight or flight circumstances. And this time more than any other time in our lives, it's everywhere. We used to be able to turn off the TV, but we get notifications on our phones. Every app has fight or flight right into it. Doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on, I don't know. I don't know all the apps, but I'm sure you can tell me. They're all dealing with fight or flight. You've got to remove yourself. That's the only thing I'll say. And then you've got to find out, what is it that helps you? What helps you to feel good, in control of your life? And those are the things you have to push forward in your life. And I know you're not sticking your head in the sand. That's the other thing I hear. But I can't stick my head in the sand. Look at everything's falling apart. Yeah, I know. But you can't help them when you're injured. You don't make right decisions if you're reacting from a popcorn, angry, not processing this trauma. It's like a person who's been abused in a relationship, who's gone through extreme trauma, they get out of the relationship, and more than I've seen it happen, they fall into the same hole over and over. They meet another guy, oh, he's wonderful, but they never process, they never found their own peace, who they are, and they fall right into another relationship that's abusive. And that's what you're going to do with the trauma. You're going to be fine, but you didn't process it. You didn't find out where you are peaceful, where you are happy. You haven't created the happiness shield around you. Let's call it that. Those precious moments with kids, those precious moments when you are just laughing and having fun, looking up at the sky and saying, thank you for this beautiful day. You know, that takes putting up a shield against all the trauma out there and all the noise, the constant noise. And you can listen once in a while, but to listen 24 hours a day is not good for you. It is time for us to take control of us. Because if we let ourselves go like this, the trauma is not going to end. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden we have to be faced with this kind of dilemma. But there is a lesson in it. And maybe it is time. Maybe we are being told, hey, listen, you got to go within to figure this out. Because the world out there is not going to give you any pacifiers anymore. You've got to make your own peace. And the ways to do that are to find out what you love. Is it redoing furniture? It is for me. I know everybody can't wait to do that. But I love to see a beautiful old piece of furniture that has been racked turn into something beautiful. I love that. I think it's fun. It gives me that creative feeling. I love to try new different techniques. Maybe maybe you want to try painting. Maybe you want to try writing. Writing is a great way. Even if you're not going to publish it, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are putting everything down on that paper, getting it out of your body. And the other thing, if I was going to say, exercise. You got to vent it. You got to get it out of you. You got to shake it out. Do yoga, run, walk, get out and just start breaking a little sweat. Get that energy, that incredible built up trauma out of the body. Because it circles around in your body. So do things like exercise to get it out, to feel good. Treat yourself well. We've got to understand we are here for a reason. And believe it or not, folks, this is the thing. We are born in this time for a reason. Isn't that interesting? I heard one guy on social media saying, hey, I am so sick of all these life-changing events happening. I think we all are. But guess what? He's here for a reason. He just has to figure out what his reason is. But as long as you're all tied up in the trauma, you can't see in front of your face. You've got to step back and say, wait a minute. I got to get myself in control. And really, if things really did get dire, who would you rather want to be? The person who's like panicked and can't handle it and is like crazy, the kind of person you can't be around because they can't handle their emotions and they're just screaming and they're yelling and they can't control anything. They're hysterical. Or do you want to be the person who knows where their calmness is, where their center is, and knows that this too shall end, has processed the trauma, and says, okay, this is not where I need to stay. This is not my fight that I want to fight right now. I'm going to step out of this. Or how can we make this better? How can we all unite and make this better? That's even better. But you can't do that if you're hysterical. You can't do that if you're in the middle of the trauma. You've got to get out of the trauma so you can reach the hand in to help those who have not processed. Because really, in the end, we are a united place. We are a united country. We have to help each other. right? And this is a trauma we've all been going through. Well, the world, now we're the world. We need to help each other. So stuff is going to happen. When we learn how to process what is happening, what is important, what is not important, what can I do, what can I not do, then all of a sudden we become powerful. It's a really funny thing. Let's put it this way. If we're not looking into ourselves, we haven't found our status quo, and we're all crazy, and something comes in that needs our attention. Maybe it's something that really dire that does come into our world. Maybe there's a decision government-wise. Maybe there's something in the worldwide, giant world. There's something happening that we all have to take stock of. Kind of like what's happening now, right? Where do we stand? This is the time you pull together you. What can I do to make the best impact? Now listen to those words. You did not hear me say, oh my God, oh my God. I can't believe this. What are they doing? What are they doing? What is happening? I feel we're going to go into World War III. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I mean, the panic just sets in. Do you see the difference? It's a subtle, but it's so important. Process what is going on. Take a look at your life. Are you being reactionary? Why? It's not a bad thing. Just don't ever criticize yourself. Just ask why. Why am I being so reactionary right now? Because reactionary is totally from the trauma. So take a step back and say, okay, why am I so mad that that person wasn't ready to go right at that green light? Or why am I so mad that person cut into the grocery line? Why am I just so angry? And if you just get quiet and ask yourself, you'll find out that you've got some hidden stuff down there that you're just angry at the world. And if you're angry at the world, guess what? That's okay. It really is. There's a lot of stuff going on. And once you know that that's okay, and you allow yourself to be angry, then you can step back and say, okay, I need to take control of my world. And that's when you'll start having fun, because it's a really funny thing, and it's psychology based. When we hide an emotion, then it overpowers us because it's got to come out. But when we acknowledge something that's deep inside of us, it's really funny. It takes away its power. And all of a sudden, that anger, you'll understand what it's for. You're dissatisfied. That's okay. But now it's time to make yourself strong. Now's the time for you to find that happiness for you again. And it's not that you're avoiding, but you got to build up your muscles. You got to get back to who you are before you can move forward. You got to come back to that incredible light inside of you to be the woo-woo person I am. That person who's strong and confident and believes in themselves, who isn't run by just anger, but run by wisdom. Wisdom. Who's run by a feeling of compassion for others, because that's what we need. The anger with dissatisfaction is fine, but that wonderful feeling of wisdom and compassion is what the world needs. And all of a sudden, as you get more centered and you find yourself laughing heartily, you won't be mad when the person cuts in front of you. You find yourself in a place of more peace. And that's where you have the biggest impact of all in this world right now. That's where you have the biggest impact in helping your children through this. That's where you have the biggest impact for creating a family unit, a family, and even a town government. Even more than that, voting. I mean, It's so funny. What we think is such a calm, placid state has the most power. But see, this is the thing. You're not drawing from that fight or flight anymore. You're drawing upon wisdom and reasoning and compassion. You're seeing things you never saw before. Because when you're in the fight or flight, folks, and you're suffering from trauma, it's all about survival. It's me, 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 me. But when you process it and you see it for what it is, it's coming from you. You are now the energy. It's coming from you to others. Helping others, doing service, unifying the family, writing a book, talking to a bluebird. But all of these things build. Right now, we have so much trauma. We've got to step back. We've got to register that's what we're doing. We are in trauma. And we've got to start taking the steps to find who we are again in that status quo. We got to calm it down. We got to calm it down. And for heaven's sakes, I know it's hard, but turn off the news. At least just watch it once a day. Don't turn it on all day, okay? Please don't, because it's just too much. It's just too much. And allow yourself to do and have fun again. Allow yourself to feel peace again. Allow yourself to feel grateful. Yes, grateful again. Build it inside of you. And then it really doesn't matter what happens out there. And if it does, you'll have the wisdom, the peace, and this incredible strength to be the power that makes the change. It really is important. We don't teach this in schools. We don't teach this in society. I think our founding fathers, the people who founded the United States, knew it. They understood fight or flight. They understood, well, times were slower. You know, all of them took time to write. All of them took time to go out with their horses. All of them had really like little family farms. They got away from the fighting. They got away from the craziness of being attacked. And that's where decisions were made, from that peaceful place, not from the fight or flight. They used to say, you know, Abraham Lincoln, let's take him for instance. There'd be a big room of discussion, and everybody's arguing. Both parties are just yelling, something like what we hear now. And they're yelling at each other. And guess what? Abraham Lincoln would get very quiet. He would not talk. And then sometimes he'd even take a day. And then when he came out, it was from strength. When he came out with what he had to say and the decision he made, it was with strength, wisdom, and compassion. He was not one of the ones running around like a chicken with his head cut off, to use that old phrase. We need to be that for our families. We need to be that for ourselves. But it all starts with registering how do we feel and then saying it's okay. It's okay. It's funny, in Soul Manifesto, we talk so much about this. And really, to tell you the truth, folks, I didn't learn this. Well, I learned this as a kid. You know? Well, I learned part of it. My dad, I told you, he was a really self-made man and everything. Now, he thought I was a feely person. I was a flower child. So what he had to do was he wanted me to be strong. And so he would say, every time I get watery eyes, he'd say, wait. There are a lot of opportunities out there, but if you're going to wallow in the mess, you're not going to find it. That's what he used to say. Find the solution, then cry. Now, I have twisted that a little because I think it's important that you do get that energy out of your body by either crying, running, whatever it is. But remember, there's opportunities in the calmness. You got to get yourself back to your own status quo. It's really interesting. I have been doing this. I have been turning off the news. I listen to it once a day. I have taken my phones and I have put them in another room because there's a lot of chaos on a lot of fronts right now for me. I have a lot going on in my life. My brother just passed. I'm putting that funeral together. I've had to get that estate. I just got my mother's estate done. So I've got 2 estates. I've got a business. I've got my kids who are all over the place doing all their things. All this stuff can cause me to go in. And then you add the news to that. The reason why I'm telling you this, I'm in where you are. But how do I deal with it? I find my moments to find me. You know, if you're looking at your life and you're saying, but I don't see this break. I don't know where I need this calmness. I don't know how to find that intuition inside myself anymore. Then you got to contact me, folks. Go to Soul Manifesto, because in Soul Manifesto, there is a place to say, hey, Alena, I heard your show. Right now we're letting the outside affect everything. All right, my friends. Always remember that spirit is love, not chaos. Love. And love is the only way to access spirit. Namaste, everyone.
This has been Magical Moments with Alena, featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.